August 22, 1999. Hong Kong's new Bangkok airport is battling fierce winds from a raging typhoon. A fully loaded passenger jet, China Airlines Flight 642, prepares for landing, its pilots fighting the elements, its passengers holding their breath. In less than 30 seconds, this ordinary flight will flip upside down, burst into flames, and become one of the most terrifying aviation accidents ever caught on camera. But how did it happen? What chain of decisions led to disaster in the middle of a storm? This is the story of Flight 642. The Lockheed L-1011 TriStar was once a pride of the skies, a wide-body workhorse built for safety and comfort. On this day, China Airlines Flight 642 was carrying 315 people, 209 passengers, 8 crew members, and 88 transit passengers from Bangkok to Taipei, with a scheduled stop in Hong Kong. It was supposed to be routine, a simple touchdown before continuing to Taiwan. But as the aircraft approached Hong Kong that night, the skies were anything but routine. Greater than Typhoon Sam was sweeping across the South China Sea, lashing Hong Kong with fierce crosswinds and driving rain. Visibility was poor. Wind shear warnings were active. Pilots landing at Bangkok faced unpredictable gusts, sudden changes in wind, speed, and direction that could destabilize any approach. Still, Flight 642 was cleared to land on runway 25L. Captain Ho, a veteran pilot with thousands of flight hours, took command of the approach. His co-pilot called out speed and altitude. Everything seemed under control. For now, the aircraft descended through thick clouds. The landing gear was down, flaps extended. But strong crosswinds buffeted the TriStar from the right. Instruments showed the wind shifting faster than expected, gusts up to 35 knots. The pilots adjusted, trying to maintain alignment with the runway. But as the aircraft neared 700 feet, a sharp wind shear pushed it off course. The plane dropped suddenly, sinking faster than it should. Inside the cockpit, warning tones began to sound. At just 50 feet above the runway, the right wing dipped. The captain tried to correct it, pulling the yoke and adding power. But it was too late. The TriStar's right wing struck the ground with a violent jolt. The landing gear snapped off instantly. The massive aircraft slammed onto its right side, flipped upside down, and skidded down the runway in a shower of sparks. The cabin filled with smoke and debris as fuel ignited. Passengers screamed, disoriented and trapped in their seats. In just a few seconds, the peaceful flight had turned into chaos. When the aircraft came to rest, it lay upside down near the edge of the runway, engulfed in flames. Airport fire crews rushed to the scene within minutes, battling the inferno and rescuing survivors through holes in the fuselage. Miraculously, most passengers survived, but 3 lost their lives, and over 200 were injured. For Hong Kong's new airport, still in its first year of operation, the scene was surreal, a massive aircraft lying overturned, barely recognizable. Investigators from Hong Kong's Civil Aviation Department, along with Lockheed Martin engineers and representatives from China Airlines, began piecing together what went wrong. They studied the flight recorders, the black boxes, to reconstruct the final moments. The data revealed that the aircraft had a dangerously high rate of descent, almost twice what's considered safe, just before touchdown. Combined with a sudden drop in airspeed caused by wind shear, the result was catastrophic. The report found that the captain had underestimated the severity of the crosswind and wind shear. During the final approach, the crew focused on keeping the aircraft lined up rather than monitoring their vertical descent rate. In the stormy conditions, that oversight proved fatal. Had they executed a go-around, aborting the landing to try again, the accident might have been avoided. But under pressure to land in worsening weather, they continued the approach. It was a decision made in seconds, one that would haunt everyone on board. Wind shear and invisible. Sudden change in wind velocity has long been a killer in aviation. It can rob a plane of lift during takeoff or landing, causing it to sink unexpectedly. Since the 1980s, pilots have trained extensively to recognize and escape from wind shear conditions. But even with modern systems, when nature unleashes its full force, reaction time is measured in heartbeats. Flight 642 became another reminder of how unforgiving those final seconds can be. The TriStar itself was destroyed beyond repair. Yet, the strength of its design likely saved many lives. The fuselage stayed mostly intact, despite the inversion. Survivors later described the horror of hanging upside down, smoke filling the cabin, searching desperately for exits in the darkness. Cabin crew acted heroically, cutting seat belts, guiding people to safety, and pulling injured passengers through emergency holes carved by rescuers. Among the chaos, stories of courage emerged: flight attendants risking their lives to save others, passengers helping strangers to escape. The final accident report concluded that the primary cause was the crew's failure to arrest the high rate of descent prior to touchdown. Contributing factors included severe wind shear, crosswind gusts exceeding safe limits, and the crew's decision to continue the approach rather than execute a go-around. Investigators recommended improved wind shear alerting systems, stricter crosswind limits, and enhanced simulator training for typhoon conditions. These changes would later influence flight training programs across Asia. For the families of those lost, the findings brought little comfort. But the survival of over 300 people was seen as near miraculous. The accident became a case study in pilot training, emphasizing judgment under pressure and the importance of trusting instruments over instinct. China Airlines would later implement new safety protocols and crew training, determined to prevent such an event from happening again. The tragedy of Flight 642 became a turning point, a lesson written in smoke and flame. Aviation safety has always been built on hard lessons. Every switch, every warning, every decision in the cockpit carries the weight of past mistakes and the lives that were changed by them. On that stormy night in 1999, the skies over Hong Kong tested the limits of man and machine. And though Flight 642 never reached its destination, the knowledge gained from its loss continues to keep millions of passengers safe today. This is the story of courage in crisis. This is the story of China Airlines Flight 642. One flight, one storm, one moment that changed everything. If you believe every story deserves to be told, hit that subscribe button, and let's uncover the next mystery together.